Most Amazon sellers think the fastest way to scale is by launching more products, but that is far from the truth. 80% of your revenue comes from 20% of your catalog, and doubling down on those SKUs will grow your brand faster than any new launch ever will. So on screen, I'm showing you results from one of our clients, Crazy Girls. They did 536,000 in a single month, pounds, and most of these sales, 80% typically came from only a few hero SKU products. And I'm showing you exactly why it's so important to follow this approach. So in this video, let me show you exactly why expanding horizontally too fast kills your margins and how focusing on your winners actually boosts all your other products automatically. So what is the 80-20 pattern? This is a universal concept across businesses of all sorts to exactly how you can scale. This includes ad spend, products with the most revenue, and overall growth. So for example, in the context of Crazy Girls, they were doing 500K a month, and 80% of those sales came from the top half of their catalog. Now, why we do this is because it is an efficient way to manage and efficiently scale your brand. Okay, that is the most important thing. You know, on Amazon, you probably have tons of listings, right? You have tons of different SKUs, and typically there's a certain few that do the majority of your sales. That's just the way it is. So we want to maximize those that already do well. This is the concept of 80-20. It's better to have 80% of sales come from top half of products than 40% coming from everything all happening at once, because then it's hard to manage everything. It's hard to manage your inventory. It's hard to efficiently manage your PPC spend. It's hard to manage the, actually how you're going to scale these listings, right? So it's very, very important to have proper structure. And this is typically the pattern that most winning brands follow. Even the brands doing millions a month on Amazon, they typically have a few listings that are crushing it, right? And then there's a halo effect going on to the other listings, which is the 20% of those. Now, I'm not saying that the remaining SKUs are bad. For example, in the context of Crazy Girls, it's a clothing brand. They weren't bad listings, but they were slow, right? They have weak velocity, low keyword ranking, expensive to push the ranking up even higher, slow review build-up, so not as many reviews, and the competitive landscape was much more harder, right? Yet most sellers typically spend money trying to fix these SKUs and lose margins doing it. You don't have to fix these SKUs. You just have to efficiently manage and scale the ones already doing well. So for an example, let's use Neurogum. This is a really big brand. They do about $9 million a month on Amazon. So let's look at their listings and the percentage of sales. So if you have a look here, we have a few winning listings, right? They're doing $1 million a month, right? And you see the drop off from this to the next level. Now the next level, they're still doing quite well, right? 325,000, 220, you understand, right? But if you keep going down, you'll see there's so many listings which are doing very little amounts. And this is strategically why they're doing it, because they're focusing their efforts on the top half of listings, because these ones are doing tons of sales, they have good reviews, good history, and they just want to double down on it. Because if you place all your effort on all these other products, these typically have less reviews, not as much sales velocity, poor keyword ranking, and you're overall going to be spending more money on advertising to be aggressive for no sake. Now, the point of this 80-20 rule is typically when you have these products doing so well, you're naturally going to see an insane amount of search volume. So these products are seeing so many new customers. And what that does is typically they have a look at your other products here that are not doing anything. So probably, and all these listings here, they're probably running no advertising at all for. It's all a halo effect from the top listings and overall brand awareness. And this is an efficient way to scale, because now you manage your budget, your PPC, your listings, your inventory for the top products that you really want to emphasize and never run out of stock. And the other ones typically will see a halo effect and don't need so much optimization all the time. So here's why pushing weak products is a losing game, right? Low performing SKUs are expensive to scale because they require more PPC budget to efficiently rank and get more sales velocity, more reviews to build validity and higher conversion rates, higher CPR to rank. So CPR is typically how many sales you need within 8 days to get on the top half of page 1. More sessions to learn, so you need more data, more time to break even, obviously, and the market may simply not want them. And the biggest thing I see is more sellers get attached, right? Because you have all these products and you know you have product ideas that are they killer, right? You've created these products, you know this is the next one, this is really gonna crush it, but you don't know how it's gonna react in the market, because you launch it on Amazon, maybe that does like very under delivers, and the products you thought were okay and they weren't anything innovative are the ones doing really, really well. Use that data, build off the data. Do not go with your heart and just be like, hey, this is a product I know is better, I need to scale this. No, that's not how it works. Analyze the market, analyze what it's already doing well. And most sellers get attached. They think a certain SKU should be their best seller, but Amazon does not care what you think. It only cares about momentum and market response. So really tailor your approach around this. Now here's why doubling down on winners explodes revenue. When your hero SKUs start climbing, like I said, your entire brand will benefit. You will see a halo effect, right? You get more brand visibility. Customers cross buy your other SKUs. For example, in the case of Neurogum, they might have all these other listings that are multi packs or different variations, and a customer might be on these listings and they see the other small variations or different packs or whatever, and they might just buy it. You're giving them more options to buy your product. That's the most important thing, right? Your PPC becomes more efficient. This is one of the most important things. You're not spreading your budget thin. You're aligning spend with the SKUs that Amazon already rewards, because then you can double down on your budget. You have an ACoS threshold. You know what the ROAS is. You know the conversion rate. You don't have to constantly be in the game of optimizing so many things at once. It becomes much easier. And the last thing is organic sales rise across your catalog, because now even weak SKUs start picking up lift through exposure, as I said. Real quick, if you're a brand who wants this sort of exposure, you're doing about 30K a month above or even higher, and you're trying to scale, hit the link down below to see if you're a good fit for our 3-phase revenue growth system. If you're dealing with wasted PPC spend, flat rankings, low conversions, we fix all three fast using our system, where we recover 20-30% of ad spend, get your product at page 1 for your high intent keywords, and overall increase your conversion rate like we did for Crazy Girls here. So if you're interested, see if you're a fit for our system, link down below in the description. Now the next question is going to be, how can you identify your top 20% winners, right? So there's a bunch of things we can look into to identify what these products are. So typically, first thing is going to be high sales velocity. If they're already driving a majority of your sales, you obviously want to double down on it. That's your overall moneymaker, okay? Second thing is, they might not have super high sales velocity, but you might realize they have strong keyword ranking. So maybe their market is not as competitive and it's much easier to rank. So this is once you do more analysis, do some keyword research, analyze your organic ranking, and focus on that. Next thing is, across all your products, this should be a given: attractive main image plus a high click-through rate, right? Analyze your products that have the highest click-through rate, see if you can get more impressions on it. You can use the Amazon Search Query Performance Report to see exactly some of these keywords. Next thing, obviously, strong conversion rates, solid reviews. Obviously, we want to double down on the products that have solid reviews in the market already. Proven market demand, so they're already doing some sort of success on the platform as itself, and you know there are competitors you can realistically beat. These should be your momentum SKUs. They deserve 80% of your love, 80% of your PPC budget, and 80% of your optimization efforts. So we specifically have a system built out for this in our 3-phase revenue growth system. It's a tiered product system. So what we have is, we list out exactly, here are all the SKUs, and here are how many sales they're actually driving. So we have tier 1 core products. These drive more than 30% of sales. So these are the ones we really want to emphasize and focus our effort to scale as a whole. Next thing is, we have tier 2 products. They drive between 5 to 30% of sales. Still do really, really well, right? So they can do 20%, 25%. They're still really well. We want to focus on those. Or they do 5, 10%. And you also want to look into it exactly, what is the potential off of it. So here are a bunch of things, like I said. Maybe it's doing 10% of your sales, but it has strong keyword ranking. So you want to double down on it even more, right? So you just have to look into it and use product analysis, market analysis to see exactly where you want to place these products. And then tier 3 are going to be one of the low hanging fruits. So these are typically going to be your 20%ers, right? Or even less than 20%ers. We don't want to focus too much of our advertising budget on this or overall growth, because we want these products to have more sort of a halo effect. So in real time, this is what it looks like. For example, for one catalog here, these are the tier 1 products, tier 2, tier 3. Typically, the 80% products are going to be between the tier 1 and tier 2. Obviously, tier 2 can go into tier 1 based off of all of these metrics here that you want to look into. But then the 20% is typically going to be the tier 3 products here. So once you identify what products go into different tiers, here is how the strategy should work. For example, in the case of Crazy Girls, shift more PPC budget to the top SKUs. So we know which products have the highest growth levers. We want to see if we can add more budget to it, if there's other keyword opportunities that we can double down, improve our conversion rate, and overall push the rankings up even higher, especially on high intent keywords, right? Look into every sort of avenue you can do to improve this product sales. Now, obviously, if you are already ranked really high for this product and you feel like you've capped out, focus on other tier 1 products, okay? Identify these as they have more market potential in the market. How do you know this? Look at the keyword ranking. Look at the competitors in the market. How much are they doing in comparison to you? Can you compete with them, right? This is through really in-depth research that you should do, okay? But once you identify these, we want to double down and focus on it. Never run out of stock, improve sales velocity, get more reviews, and really focus on your PPC efforts on these products. So what happens is, once the top products explode, everything else will follow. The catalog will get free organic lift without any extra PPC effort for those products. So to counteract that, this is a mistake I see a lot of sellers make, especially early sellers. If you're an established seller, you can obviously keep on doing this, but this is launching more products too early, which will slow your growth down, okay? Because most sellers typically think more SKUs means more revenue. I have a new product in the market, new search terms, new search volume, I attract new customer bases. But what this does is launching typically too early means you split your attention and you split your budget. So typically you might not have an insane amount of cash flow. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But if you have limited cash flow, now you're diluting your efforts. You have these winning products that are already on Amazon, and now you're diluting effort here. Or maybe if you just double down on those ones, that will be your biggest revenue driver. That will help you hit those next levels. Because now you have these new listings, you need more reviews, you need more overall sales velocity and overall growth, which takes more time and it makes a very slow process. So until you have a few winning products that do a majority of your sales and give you good cash flow, I wouldn't really focus too much on launching new products constantly. So a perfect quote is, you don't scale by adding more plates. You scale by spinning the plates that are already moving fast, right? If you see something churning, it keeps on going. How can I make this go even faster, right? You don't want to make a new one and try to get that slowly up and up and up and up. This only works if you are a big brand, you're doing well already, you know good product ideas that have product demand fit, and then you can launch those. So final takeaway, ride the momentum, not your opinions. Follow the 80-20 rule for all of your products and your listings. I promise you, it'll make it much easier not only to scale, but efficiently manage your brand, okay? Push your proven winners, let your catalog ride the momentum, and only expand once your hero SKUs are fully optimized and dominating. Like I said, if you need help scaling on Amazon using our system, hit the link down below in our bio where you can go over exactly how our system works. We typically work for brands doing at least over 30K a month because you've proven product market fit. But hit the link in bio, see if you're fit, and hopefully we can help you scale to the next level.